with that, welcome aboard, Mr. Roof. Good. So, I believe, yeah, if you're sworn in, you're allowed to sit at the table. All right, so with that, we will move on to the regular agenda. So for our consent agenda, we have number 3, the minutes, number 4, instruction, including a field trip request, number 5, athletics, including the hiring of athletic personnel, finance committee, for the finance section, including transfers and the treasurer's report, the bills and the tax report, personnel, including employment, and that's it for the consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion on 2 of the items. It would be agenda item 5A, item 2,
Okay?
and agenda item 7A, and 7A, and then attachment item K1. Make a motion that we table those 2 items.
Okay. So we have a motion, we have a second? Table those 2 items?
Second.
Oh, you can do both together. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, so with the exception of those 2 tabled items, we have a motion for the rest of the consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, with that, high school principals report. Mrs. Ely.
Good evening. Okay. So we had our first professional development day today at both buildings. It went very well at the high school. All the teachers are settling in very nicely. Tomorrow evening, we will have our new student orientation. So any new student to the high school building, so that includes all 7th grade students, and then anyone coming to our building for the first time from any other grade level, are invited to attend that with a parent to receive some important information. That will include your schedule, your locker number. We will hold an informational session for all of those students in the high school gymnasium. This is slightly different from past years where we normally do it in the auditorium. So we'll be down in the gym from 6:30 to 7:15. After that, until 8:30, we'll have the open house in the building. Students and their families are encouraged to visit all their classrooms. Be sure to stop into the cafeteria where we will have informational tables set up with clubs and activities, and students can sign up right there to join different groups. We will then welcome students for their first day of classes on Thursday. Doors will open for breakfast at 7:45. 8 o'clock is the start of school, and students need to be in their homeroom at 8:05 a.m., which is when attendance will be taken. Reminder to everyone, the Brock Street doors are the only point of entrance in the morning to the high school building. So everyone has to come in through the Brock Street doors. And the last thing I just want to put out there to families, I want to encourage all parents to make sure that your Skyward account is working correctly. If you need help setting that up or you're having difficulty with it at all in any way, please email grouptechnology@sarahsd.org. They can walk you through that. They can reset your account. You probably have a password. Maybe you're unaware of it. They can give you that information. Also, a Skylert was sent out earlier this evening to all high school parents, and it would have come in the form of an email. This included the technology sign-out paper that parents can print, read, and sign. So students could then bring that to day one of class on Thursday, hand it into their homeroom teacher. That will allow them to then take their laptops home with them that day. If not, they will get that same piece of paper in their first day packet from their homeroom teacher. They can then have it filled out, signed that evening, bring it back on Friday to then be able to take their laptop home. But I sent it out just in case anyone wants to get that done. You could even bring it to open house tomorrow night if you felt you wanted to, and give it to the main office, and I could make sure it gets to the right teacher. And the last thing about that is, if you didn't receive that Skylert earlier this evening, if you're not receiving the Skylers, because there's been a handful that have been sent out throughout the summer, then make sure that the district has your correct contact information. Maybe your phone number and or your email address has changed. If that has happened, then you wouldn't be receiving the alerts from us, so just make sure that those are up to date. And that's all I have.
Mrs. Ely, may I
Yeah.
ask a question? For parents that are coming tomorrow for the open house, we have copies available of that technology sheet that you sent home?
We sure can, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Ely. Nothing from the assistant principal as he's shaking his head at me. Elementary school. Mrs. Mel.
Good evening, everyone. We also had a very great but busy day at the elementary school. We thank everybody for coming in and setting up rooms and getting ready. Our open house will also be tomorrow night from 5 to 7 p.m. Those first day packets will be sent home with the students, so you can fill out that same kind of information and send it back with your children within this first week of school. Again, please make sure all your information is updated so we can make those necessary adjustments in our SIS system. Our 50th birthday party we found in the archives, with the thanks from the people that work in the archives, that the date 50 years ago, the dedication was done on November 17th, so we're gonna move our 50th celebration, so mark in your calendar, Mr. Cole, November 17th at 2:15 p.m., just to be a little more reflective of the time that it took place 50 years ago. We're working on several activities for that as well. The library is coming along. The baseboard was put down today. 2 of the 4 sets of stairs are done, so we are very hopeful within the next week that the library will be ready to move in. I would ask that during open house you stay away from that construction area. It will be taped off, so please, you may sneak a peek from the top, but don't go down into the library. We'll make sure we get some pictures and things out once it's completed and finished, but it looks good so far. So thank you to everybody who made our first day so welcoming and successful back. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Morrell.
You're welcome.
So, Athletics and Recreation Committee report. Mr. Shaw? Mr. Barry?
Yes, we have good numbers for the fall sports. We have 18 for competitive cheer, 10 for cross-country, 48 for football, 5 for golf, 8 for boys soccer, 7 girls soccer, which is a co-op with Athens, 6 for junior high, and 28 for volleyball. Like to remind everyone that the homecoming game is October 14th versus North Penn Mansfield. And we discussed about talking, we have to notify Athens in October whether we want to go out sports for 24-25, but with the merger thing, it's a delicate issue.
Thank you very much. Community Relations Wellness Committee?
So we've started working on homecoming items that we have coming up, so that's been our primary focus, the parade, the potential for a bonfire once again, as well as coordinating with the Redskins Club
buildings and grounds.
Mr. Claypool, did you want to take building and grounds, or did you want me to go ahead and hit that?
I can do that.
Okay, thank you.
Buildings and grounds, met last week. We discussed all the various projects through the summer. The big things, 6 classrooms here have been mostly updated, new floors, new paint, new shades, new stain on the woodwork, all those kinds of things, so they look really sharp. There's new cabinet, or new countertops. Couple of little pieces left in those rooms, but for the most part, they're done and they'll be good to go for Thursday when the kids are here. And so far, people seem to be happy with the look. Air handlers in the auditorium are nearing completion. Most of the install's complete, but there's still some electrical work that needs to be done with that. So, we're hoping end of the month, beginning of September, that's completed. At Snyder, the biggest projects there are the flooring in the library, which is mostly complete, and we're working on the stairwells today, so hopefully that'll be done here shortly after students start, if not before, but that's nearing completion. And painting at Snyder for the exterior brick is going to occur after school starts. There's some repointing work that needs to be done a little bit, and then they're going to start the painting, so that's going to be more of a September, October kind of project. And those are the significant things from the Buildings and Grounds report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Claypool. Curriculum and instruction.
So before I share that report, I do want to give a shout out to Mr. Claypool and his team. All of those projects that he outlined, along with many others that he didn't say, were done so with monies that we had available, in the sense of no bond or anything was taken out to make that all happen, because of all the work that he's done over the last several years. So kudos to him and his team. And I also want to give a shout out to Ray, Mike Tracy, and Richie Satterley, because they were working around numerous contractors and workers this summer, and still got the buildings ready to go to meet our teachers today and our students on Thursday. So in order for that all to happen, they had to move furniture more than once. No one likes to move it once, let alone more than once. So, and they had to do that, and they did it. And so I want to thank that team for doing that. So curriculum instruction met on the 15th of August, and they talked about the preliminary data that we received from PSSA and the Keystones. Went over to look at areas that we need to grow in and focus upon. We talked about the spring math implementation that is happening K through 8. And we have additional sustained professional development that is coming from PATAN or Patton, however you like to say that, from the state level at no additional cost. So Jared will be here, I believe, on tomorrow or Wednesday? Wednesday, thank you. Talked about the supplemental materials that we're going to be purchasing with the ESSERS money that we have to spend through September of 2024, and how we'll be doing a refresh of our laptops for our students. We were able to purchase, I think it was 262 is the number I'm remembering, of new laptops this year to refresh, and I think that will be at the 7, 8, 9 grade level. So that's exciting. We were able to invest in iPads for the tiny mics, and Rhonda Tracy is our wonderful teacher that oversees the tiny mics, and we're glad to have that. And we're investing in a STEM program, Project Lead the Way, with Krista Leonard at K to 5. And so we're excited about that. She just met with that team, Christy Cobb out of Project Lead the Way last week, and she's invested in that, and we have an EITC grant to make that happen, in addition to some of the ESSERS funds. We'll be requesting math materials, because this year we will do a pilot, because we have a 8-year cycle of curriculum, and so for this upcoming year, we'll be looking at our math program. Our contract with Go Math will be up at the end of this school year, and therefore we will take the time, the entire year, to look at math programs that are out there. We may continue with Go Math, or we may select another one. Mr. Handrick has already brought one program in for the teachers to look at. Teachers were excited to talk about that, and some are already itching to be a part of that committee. So I was excited that we have teachers K to 8 that are wanting to do that. And then I also wanted to share that we had 3 full days with our brand new 13, 14 teachers. that we had for induction. We were here last Thursday, and then the following Monday and Tuesday of this last week with our new teachers for 6 whole hours each day. And we went through a variety of topics from instruction, curriculum, online resources, scenarios for safety to go through. We had 3 full days, and we also received, I sent an email to all of those teachers and asked for reflection on if they were to come back and go through those 3 days again, what would they want to be different? So that I could take that feedback and make it better for next year's group that runs through our induction program. And then professional development started this morning, and we had a full schedule today with our educators. We welcomed them back with a nice breakfast, informational session, followed by a meeting with the union. And then this afternoon, both principals ran faculty meetings. Tomorrow, we have a 2-hour safety meeting. We have our mandatory GCN trainings of HIPAA, FERPA, and Title IX, as well as de-escalation training as a follow-up to our special ed audit from a while ago. This will be our last session that we need to hold. It's a 3-hour session. And then on Wednesday, we have another day of a variety of things happening. Our science teachers will be focused on the standards. I believe that the spring math teachers will be working on spring math. Our K-2 teachers will be working on letters 2. They finished letters 1. They went through that coursework last year. So we're starting letters 2 for them this year, and we're investing in that program for them. Okay, so that was from curriculum instruction. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anything from technology?
I missed that meeting, so I apologize, sir. I missed the technology meeting.
Well, so did I, so I apologize for that as well. I will, if you put it on the agenda for next time.
Oh, Mrs. Burrell, can you share with us the topics that went over for the technology?
We basically went through ideas that they had with regard to Google and how they'd like to see that be incorporated and changed. What were some of the other, for the refresh? It was basically just an overview
Yeah, we
of
talked about
where
the
we've
new
been.
technology that was purchased this year, past projects wrapping up, and then kind of a look towards the future since JC was coming back on board.
Yep.
It wasn't real lengthy.
No, it was really just a general overview of how much we've grown, what the kids are able to do with their computers, and then the hopes that we will continue that same one-to-one and how that will all play out as they refresh. So I think, and
I
then
think we talked a little
about
bit about the new website.
the new website a little bit, and then we talked about getting the computers out to the kids for the first day of school when they're back, and what that looked like at each of the schools. So everybody will have their tech in hand by no later than kindergarten's last ones to go on Monday, so we'll be set.
That was a nice recap for not being prepped. I didn't prep you for that, so thank you both.
Thank you. I'll put a challenge up to the technology committee, and I'll contact JC, but I know all these forms that go home with kids to sign. Maybe it'd just be nice if we can get an email and sign them and send them back, right?
Like a DocuSign.
Yeah, all right.
We'll have to talk to the business manager about that.
Right, something,
Yeah.
right? Save paper.
We'll offset the paper cost with a DocuSign document. Is that what you're asking?
Something,
I will
right?
investigate that option.
We wouldn't send it all home in color either, Mr. Claypool. That would offset the savings of the DocuSign.
All right.
Is that colored toner or colored paper or
Both.
both?
Both.
Only black and white.
All right, so thanks for that. PSBA, Mr. Cole?
Thank you. We'll be electing PSBA officers at our second school board meeting of September. Candidates we'll be looking at are fine selection, and we'll try to get a little scorecard or whatever it is, a ballot or something out there for you folks to look at. PASA, PSBA conference shaping up for October. First day is safety and security program, and that will be on the 15th of October, which is a Sunday, and then first and second days of the conference are on Monday and Tuesday, and you can split those days up. I'm not sure about the safety and security program though, but if anybody would like information, I can probably find that for you. The delegates are November the 4th. It's hybrid or show up. And if there's anybody that would like to do this, I want to use this pretty, I don't want to step on eggshells or anything here, but if you'd like to be a delegate, we can nominate someone right now. It's either hybrid or you can show up down at the PSBA headquarters down in Mechanicsburg. But if by chance you'd like to be nominated tonight, because we've got to have everything in by the end of the week, if you can't show up for it, again, it's not really where it will be held against you or anything, but if you'd just like to be nominated to become a delegate, is anybody interested? Thank you, Kevin. So I'd like to make a motion to nominate Kevin Hadlock as a delegate for the PSBA delegate session on November the 4th. I'll make that into a motion.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any other nominations? All in
We got
favor?
another seat.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you,
Kevin.
Mr. Cole.
I'm up next too, aren't I?
You betcha.
Just to let you know, down at the Career Center, we've got 481 students that are currently enrolled down at North Towanda. 43 students from SARE are also enrolled down there, and I think that's one of the highest totals we've had. I think it's a record total, believe it or not. 23 LPN students graduated last Thursday evening in their 40th commencement ceremonies. The welding pad patio is going to be delayed, hopes to have things done down there in the fall. And we also introduced Dr. Jill Delosio as our superintendent of record down there. Welcome aboard, Dr. Delosio. And also, not going too far from us, seeing that the Career Center has Quest Tech, Scott Bauer is going to be the new tech director down at the Career Center for Quest Tech for us. So we're happy to have him staying within our county, so to say.
Hey Ron, maybe more curiosity than anything else, but do we know placement for the LPN? Do we know,
Not right at the moment,
Okay.
not right at the moment, Mr. Skirk.
just curious to see how that program feeds our community?
It does, it really does.
Correct, and if I remember correctly, Gary Martell shared that Guthrie purchases some of those seats for some of their, and then they come back in there with their, for employment for a period of time. I just don't know that number, John, off the top of my head.
Again, I think that they purchased, if I'm not mistaken, Guthrie purchased, I believe, 12 seats last year. And I know that there was only a few because there were some that had to drop out of the program there, but we got a strong class coming up in Guthrie. Again, I think we got about, right around 24, 25 students coming in. Thank you. That's everything, Mr. Petrini.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Cole. Anything from Blast, Mrs. Agnew?
We had our meeting last week. They were involved in the Little League Championship Parade last Monday night, so that was nice to see them in that again. Otherwise, they're working very diligently and hard, getting everything together, starting with the districts and getting things moving also. That's all. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate Mr. Roof again for his appointment on the school board, and I'd like to thank everybody for their interest. It's absolutely awesome that we've had such a great turnout and all this interest in our community and our school district. I'd also like to wish all the teachers and students a happy new school year. Walking through the halls of the high school, the team did an awesome job, the new classrooms, everything looks great. Everything that candidates said, we don't say it enough, our teachers, our staff, our faculty, they are awesome. They are probably some of the best people in the country that teach our students here every day. So thank you so much for all your hard work and dedication. And good luck on the new school year. That's all I have.
My turn?
Your turn.
All right, I would like to second and third what the principals had said today. Welcoming everybody back to the morning breakfast was a complete joy. Just the excitement that was in the building, and the nutrition group prepared a lovely breakfast. Got a lot of kudos from the staff that enjoyed that breakfast. If you haven't been on our website lately, I did get a makeover this summer, so take a look at our website. And if you haven't heard the news, we haven't pushed out anything marketing yet. We'll be getting that. JC and I actually have a meeting on Wednesday with the team from Apogee, and SARE has an app. So if you have a smartphone, download our app so we can push notifications to you. And so that's right on the App Store. It's easy to download. introduced new staff this morning, and that was nice to do. We had announcements of a birth, 2 nuptials this summer, and our elementary counselor, Gina Edgerton, which is now Fitzgerald, she had nuptials, and she earned her doctorate. So I was acknowledged that announcement this morning. Lots of applause was going on. We went over all the projects that Mr. Claypool talked about today with the entire staff, and then we sent a follow-up letter to the staff with resources and information for them to continue to dig into other information that was shared about observations and evaluations with them. So it was a lovely first day back, and then the principals, I was over at the elementary school this morning and got to see Mrs. Morel in her habitat is what I'll call it, right? In the David Port room, going through your faculty meeting. It was nice to see you in action and watching that happen. So I appreciate everybody's effort to make this happen, and especially a shout out to those custodians for getting the building ready. It looked beautiful at both spaces, so they do a great job for us. Okay? And then I did want to share with the board that I had received an email communication from a member of our community. And they were concerned about the project that's going on for the HVAC. It said that the doors that are used to service the HVAC system will be against a wall and not accessible, and that they weren't sure who was in charge of the project, but they wanted to make sure that the board and the administration was aware of a potential problem and looking out for the taxpayers, so I appreciated that. I immediately the next day went to Ray Bunker, who is our supervisor of building and grounds, and for anyone who doesn't know Ray, prior to his arrival here in the Sayre School District, he was an HVAC project manager and control technician for 25 years. So he went right away and took a look at it, and he has been in and out of all of the areas that have been with contractors this year. And then he did a write-up for me, so I would receive that and be able to share with the board that there was a concern pertaining to the service accessibility for the new auditorium air handlers, and that they looked at the issue, and it is a tight fit to get to some of the sections of the air handlers, but these units are designed differently from a door that swings to removable hatches that fall down. So when they take them off, HVAC, I guess, individuals are used to working in tight spaces, but this will be better than our former system, and he wanted to make sure that the board knew that and the taxpayers knew that as well, and he continues to look out for them as well. And Ray will be retiring at the late September time, so I still appreciate all the work that he's doing. So that's all I have. Oh, and I think I said Gina Edgerton's name wrong. It's Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick is the new name, last name, so I apologize. Must have been too many things swirling in the head at once.
I do it too, it's what I call it, so.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lozio. All right, so for future meetings, we have a community relations meeting November 7th at 5:30 in the admin conference room. We have a building and grounds meeting right after on November 7th at 6:30. We have curriculum instruction to be held November 13th at 5:30 in the admin conference room. And then a technology committee meeting the same day, November 13th at 6:30. And with that, does anybody have anything else for the board?
Move for adjournment.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.